everybody, welcome back. I'm Paul David with Automobile Atlanta. Follow me. Okay, in this video, we're gonna get into some tech talk with Dr914. We're gonna talk about lights, clock, speedometer, pro tip on removing an axle, and at the very end, we'll talk about reassembling the engine and what lubricants that we use.
Hi everyone, George Hussey, Auto Atlanta. We're here for some more questions from our moderator and best question asker I know, Paul.
All right, let's get into it. So Phil Brennan from Florida writes in, he has a 1975 914 2-liter and his speedometer is bouncing at all speeds. What should he check first?
We know Phil. He's a customer of ours forever. Phil, the old bouncing speedo is always caused by a kink in the speedometer cable, caused by it getting melted because it's running very, very close to the engine. You may want to look up underneath and make sure that your air guide plate is on. Often mechanics take those off when they're doing a valve adjust, never put them back on, and the speedo and the clutch cable get awfully close to the engine, not shielded by the air guide plate, and they melt. So, new speedo cable and check the air guide plate. The speedo cable is not so bad to install as long as you don't have a center console, and you'll be on your way. That's it.
I'm going to add, he has two more questions, three in one. Phil also has fog lights and his center console clock both don't work. George, what should he check first?
Fog lights are easy. They only work on low beam through the fog light relay. So, of course, needless to say, one's going to check the bulbs first and the power going to the fog lights, but you can make sure that the headlights are on low beam, key is on, and check the fog light relay on the back of the relay board. You can look on the Tech Tips 700 book and there's a schematic of which relay is which. 70 through 73 has one relay location set up, and then 74, 5, and 6 have another relay location set up on the back of the fuse block. But remember, low beams only, and black round fog light relay on the back of the fuse block. The clock is an easy one. The clock has power all the time, needless to say, because it has to keep time. So you can wiggle the clock out. It's put in there with a rubber gasket. Check power to it, and if there's power, the clock is not working. You have a ground as well, then you need a rebuilt clock, which is extremely expensive. Our friend Hartmut at Palo Alto Speedometer rebuilds them, but it costs something like $450, something ridiculous that Hartmut himself said the parts are impossible to find these days. So we had an excellent repro clock made by instrument specialists in India that's, I think, maybe $95. Hopefully our dear president won't tax it any more than that. So you buy that new clock, you plug it right in, you keep your old original VDO clock, but you have something totally identical that's also quartz that keeps perfect time, and you're done.
Okay, next up, we have Frank. He called in and he was asking, when removing the driver's side axle, the shaft is in the way. Any special instructions to remove it?
It's sort of tricky to get the driver's side axle out because you have the starter in the way and you have the shift rod in the way. In the past, many of these CV axles, the joint got loose because people didn't check the torque of the CV joint bolts, and then you're driving down the road, the thing radically flies up and bends the shift bar. That tells you how close that axle is to the shift bar itself. So you can take the shift bar out easily enough with the 2 set screws, and you don't really need to take the starter off, but then you have to lift the car up, put a jack up underneath the swing arm, and jack the swing arm up a little bit to get some clearance so that you can pull the CV joint, the CV axle up and over the top of the transmission and get it out. Not a hard thing to do really, but remember, jacking of the swing arm, maybe remove that shift bar and you're all set.
All right, next up we have Alex from YouTube. He's also on Facebook, so I would consider him a top fan. He's writing in again. He has a 1974 1.8 with a dealer installed AC. He wants to get it working again. He has all the components, including the York compressor. He was thinking of replacing the compressor with a modern compressor. Any recommendations to get this working again?
Well, first of all, we love air conditioning on a 914 that is installed originally at the dealer. I don't think we would take it on and install air conditioning in a 914 these days, but if it's already there or it's been taken off and put back on, great, especially as the summers are getting hotter and hotter and hotter. The air conditioning in a 914 works fabulously, makes it look like a little ice box. What I would do is I'd put everything back together in the original dealer installed location, including the York compressor, replace the dryer, replace the expansion valve, and then evacuate it, make sure it doesn't hold any leaks, and charge it. You can use our 134A with the new seals these days, and it'll work. It really will work fine. If for some reason the York compressor is totally bad, you could actually buy a rebuilt one or a rebuild kit and get it to work again. That is the easiest way to get air back into the 914 because the car was adjusted, so to speak. I mean, cutting holes and cutting engine sheet metal, etc. But I just call it adjusting to hold the York compressor in either the VPC or the DPD air conditioning kit. If all fails, then yes, you can put a new radial compressor in there with the new drive pulley and the new drive belt, and it works, needless to say, great, but it's a little bit more effort. I wouldn't do it unless you're down to the bottom line to where you had to do it. I wouldn't do it. But remember, air conditioning is great. Thanks for putting it back on. Never take the air off a 914. That's a crazy move. Plus, you're ending up with a bunch of holes and cut areas that you can not fix cheaply. And the air conditioning also increases the value of your 914 at least $2,500. Good for you. Put the air back on.
Okay. All right. So next up we have Matt Moore on Facebook.
We know Matt.
Yeah. So he's rebuilding his engine. So he's looking for any pro tips. For an example, should he put any oil in the cylinders, or should he crank before attempting to start it, or any oil on the valves?
Well, our pro builder of 914 engines, Sean Buckley, whose dad even did it before him, and Sean is well over 40 now, suggests motor oil, like 40 weight, 20W50 motor oil and we don't call it motor, we call it an engine these days. A motor is in a Tesla. We use engine oil to lubricate everything as we're putting it back together, including the cylinders. The sloppier, the better, and light assembly lube on the bearings and on the oil pump drive gears. That'll fix you right up, no problem, Matt. And good luck with the engine rebuild. If you need any tips, don't hesitate to call us.
All right, so next up, towards the end, right before we walked in here, we also had another question pop up online, and someone was asking, where can they find the winged mirrors for their 914? And they're asking for an OEM style.
Well, I wouldn't call the 914 mirror winged. I'd call it maybe a flag mirror because it's rectangular. And we are now buying these flag type original mirrors from the original manufacturer in Germany, and they're excellent, really, really excellent. Stainless steel, look the part. They just twist around to make a left into a right or vice versa. The right door shell already has the nut cage in there for the few cars that went to Britain, because the 914s never came with two mirrors, only one, but you could put one on as an option, the right side. But they just twist around, they go right on. They're relatively inexpensive and they look great on your car, really great.
Excellent. And a little curveball here at the very end. When people do reviews for us online, how helpful is it? And do you encourage people doing that for us?
Oh, certainly. The more reviews, the better. Call us out, call us up, call us over. We're here to help.
Sounds good. Well, I think that's all we have then for today. Any final words from you, George?
We highly encourage everyone to buy a 914 and fix it up and restore it, because they're great, great, great driving cars. And it's a money in the bank car that you just can't go wrong with at all. That's it.
That's all we have.
Thank you, everybody, for asking questions. Keep them coming.
All right, let's go.
Okay, good.